White collar crime. White collar crime. White collar crime. Number 4. Embezzlement and employee fraud. Embezzlement and employee fraud. The fourth type of white collar crime involves individuals' use of their positions to embezzle company funds or appropriate company property for themselves. Here, the company or organization that employs the criminal rather than an outsider is the victim of white collar crime. Employee theft can reach all levels of the organizational structure. One significant problem has been widespread theft of company property or profits by employees, commonly called pilferage. It is difficult to determine the value of goods taken by employees, but it has been estimated that pilferage accounted for 30% to 75% of all shrinkage and amounts to loss of $5 billion to $10 billion annually. Employee theft can reach all levels of the organizational structure. One significant problem has been widespread theft of company property or profits by employees, commonly called pilferage. It is difficult to determine the value of goods taken by employees, but it has been estimated that pilferage accounted for 30% to 75% of all shrinkage and amounts to losses of $5 billion to $10 billion annually. The techniques of employees theft are quite varied. Charles McGee reports on different methods used to steal from employees. Number 1. Piece workers zip up completed garments into their clothing and take them home. Number 2. Cashiers ring up lower prices on single item purchases and pocket the differences. Some will work with an accomplice and ring up the lower prices as the accomplice goes through the line. Number 3. Clerks do not tag sale merchandise and then they sell it at its original cost, pocketing the difference. Number 4. Receiving clerks obtain duplicate keys to storage facilities and then return after hours to steal. Number 5. Truck drivers make fictitious purchases of fuel and repairs and then split the gains with truck stop owners. Truckers have been known to cooperate with the receiving staff of department stores to cheat employers. In one instance, truckers would keep 20 cases of goods out of every 100 delivered. The store receiving staff would sign a bill of lading for all 100, and the two groups split the profits after the stolen goods were sold in a fence. Some employees simply hide items in garbage pails or incinerators or under trash heaps until they can be retrieved later. Blue-collar workers are not the only employees who commit corporate theft. Management-level fraud is also quite common. Such acts include: number 1, converting company assets for personal benefits. Number 2, fraudulently receiving increases in compensation such as raises or bonuses. Fraudulently increasing personal holdings of company stock. Number 4, retaining one's present position within the company by manipulating accounts. And number 5, concealing unacceptable performance from stockholders. A well-publicized example of corporate theft by management involved the Bronx-based defense contractor, the Vidtech Corporation. Vidtech officials used fraudulent accounting methods to list contracts in their financial reports that the company did not receive and counted profits for work before they were actually accrued. Their efforts helped the company sell $160 million in bonds and stocks to unsuspecting investors. A government investigation in 1987 resulted in guilty pleas by company officials to fraud and bribery charges. Further investigations implicated prominent government officials, including U.S. Representative Mooro of New York, who was indicted for soliciting bribes in order to obtain special government support for Vidtech. In their study of workplace theft, John Clark and Richard Hollinger found that about 35% of employees reported involvement in pilferage. Clark and Hollinger data indicate that employee theft is most accurately explained by factors relevant to the work setting, such as job dissatisfaction and the workers feeling that they were being exploited by employers or supervisors. In contrast, economic problems played a relatively small role in the decision to pilfer. Even though economic and community variables can help explain street crime, they have relatively little effect on employee crime. Computer 4A, computer crime. Computer related thefts are a new trend in employee theft and embezzlement. The widespread use of computers to record business transactions has encouraged some people to use them for illegal purposes. Computer crimes generally fall into one of four categories. Number 1, theft of services, in which the criminal uses the computer for unauthorized purposes or an unauthorized user penetrates the computer system. Number 2, use of data in computer system for personal gain. Number 3, unauthorized use of computers employed for various types of financial processing to obtain assets. And number 4, theft of property by computer for personal use or conversion to profit. Several common techniques are used by computer criminals. In fact, computer theft has become so common that experts have created their own jargon to describe theft styles and methods. The Trojan Horse. The Trojan Horse. One computer is used to reprogram another for illicit purposes. In a recent incident, two high school age computer users reprogrammed their computers at DePaul University, preventing that institution from using its own processing facilities. The youth were convicted of a misdemeanor. The salami slice. The salami slice. An employee sets up a dummy account in the company's computerized records. A small amount, even a few pennies, is subtracted from customers' accounts and added to the account of the thief. Even if they detect the loss, the customers don't complain, since a few cents is an insignificant amount to them. The pennies picked up here and there eventually amount to thousands of dollars in losses. Super zapping. Super zapping. Most computer programs used in business have built-in anti-theft safeguards. However, employees can use a repair or maintenance program to supersede the anti-theft program. Some tinkering with the program is required, but the super zapper is soon able to order the system to issue checks to his or her private account. The logic bomb. The logic bomb. A program is secretly attached to the company's computer system. The new program monitors the company's work and waits for a sign of error to appear. Some illogic that was designed for the computer to follow. Illogic causes the logic bomb to kick into action and exploit the weakness. The way the thief exploits the situation depends on his or her original intent. Theft of money, theft of defense secrets, sabotage, and so on. Impersonation. Impersonation. An unauthorized person uses the identity of an authorized computer user in order to use the computer in his or her stead. Data leakage. Data leakage. A person illegally obtains data from a computer system by leaking it out in small amounts. Several well-publicized cases have involved computer theft. A federal grand jury indicted a boxing promoter and two bank officials on charges of embezzling more than $21 million by computer from the Wells Fargo Bank. The bank officials knew how to submit false credits and debits to the computer in time to prevent the bank's internal security system from detecting the fraud. In Baltimore, a Social Security Administration worker was convicted on charges of ordering the office computer to send unauthorized disability payments to Confederates in Philadelphia and Washington. Over $5 lakh was stolen before the crime was detected. The equity funding cases discussed earlier involved the use of falsified computer records to steal an estimated $2 billion. A different type of computer crime involves the installation of a virus in a computer system. A virus is a program that disrupts or destroys existing programs and networks. All too often, this high-tech vandalism is the work of hackers who consider their efforts to be pranks. In one well-publicized case, a 25-year-old computer whiz named Robert Morris unleashed a program that racked a nationwide electronic bail network. His efforts netted him 3 years probation, a $10,000 fine, and 400 hours of community service. Some critics felt this punishment was too lenient to deter future virus creators. An accurate accounting of computer crime will probably never be made since so many offenses go unreported. Sometimes company managements refuse to report the crime to police lest they display their managerial incompetence to stockholders and competitors. In other instances, computer crimes go unreported because they involve such low visibility, acts as copying computer software in violation of copyright laws. It is likely that computer related crime will blossom as business becomes more computer dependent. For example, such recent advances as automatic bank teller machines have been a source of illegal gain. Bank employees have used return or unused bank cards to make withdrawals after electronically transferring funds to the non-existent account. Similarly, computer culprits have benefited from the increased use of a computerized phone network such as Sprint and MCI. In California, hackers made $60,000 worth of illegal charges on the Sprint account of a man whose access number they had obtained. Thus, as computer applications become more varied, so too will the use of computers for illegal purposes. The growth of computer-related crimes promoted Congress in 1984 to enact the Counterfeit Active Device and Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. This statute makes it a felony for a person to use illegal entry to a computer to make a gain of $5,000, to cause another to incur a loss of $5,000, or to access data affecting the nationwide interest. Violation of this act can bring up to 10 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. Repeat offenders can receive 20 years prison sentences and $1 lakh fines. Thank you.